Hey guys, I am the Comics Kid 2099 and I am here to do a video on
Missed opportunities.
if you've never seen one of these before. Basically, I will talk about a comic book or a movie or a TV show or a novel, and I will say this is what they did and this is how I wish they had done it instead. Today I wanted to talk about something that I don't think I have ever talked about on this channel before, and that is the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise from Disney. The first Pirates of the Caribbean movie came out, I want to say I was in high school, so probably 10 years ago at least, and I really liked the movie. I thought it was really enjoyable. It was a very simple movie, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't mean that as an insult. A creative writing professor that I had in college, one of his big things that he would say all the time was, keep it simple, stupid. KISS. It was a nice, easy thing to remember, and that's very important when you are writing. Don't try and make things needlessly complicated. Sometimes a storyteller can get away with that. They can do something really complex, and they can make it work. One of my all-time favorite movies is The Prestige, and I think that movie works very well, and it is a very complex movie. It's not something that you can watch one time and say, oh, okay, I understand it. It takes several viewings, and each time you learn something new. That is probably the exception to the rule. Most movies really need to keep in mind, keep it simple, stupid. I think that is a very important tenet of writing anything, and I think the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie followed that to the letter. You have gold coins. If you remove them from the treasure chest, you turn into an undead skeleton zombie thing. That's very simple to understand. It's very easy to understand the motivations of all of the characters involved in the movie. And then we get to the second and third movie. I really wanted to talk about, in this video, a lot of my problems with the second and third movie. Not all of my problems. I have another missed opportunities idea in mind that I'm probably going to do next week, but today I wanted to talk about the whole idea of splitting the second and third movie into two movies. If you've ever seen these movies, I feel like these movies originally were conceived as one giant movie. I feel like Cutler Beckett and Davy Jones were the bad guys of Pirates of the Caribbean 2. And then, somewhere along the way, I think somebody came in and said, you know what, we could add a lot of really unnecessary action scenes. We could add a couple of really unnecessary characters. That's what I'm going to be talking about next week, by the way. We could add some of this stuff, and we can make this into two movies. And the reason that they do this is because then they don't have to come up with as much story. If they realize that they have a franchise on their hands, then that means they need to keep coming up with stories to sustain this franchise. And if they realize that they can take the story that they originally intended to be the second movie and make that the second and third movie, then that's less work that they have to do. Now, this isn't as much of a problem in movies as it is in comic books, where you have a storyline that could sustain 3 issues and the writer makes it 6 or 7 issues long. This happens all the time in comic books, and I hate it. And when it does happen in movies, it doesn't happen often, but when it does, I hate it in movies also. The other big example that I can think of this would be the Matrix movies. Number 2 and 3 are really one giant movie split up into 2 different films, and I hated it then, and I hated it in Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, 2 or 3 people that I know really did not like Pirates of the Caribbean 4. I think that one was Search for the Fountain of Youth. I don't remember what it was called. A lot of people did not like that movie. I personally was willing to give it a bit of a pass because it was a standalone movie. There were things about that movie that did not work, but overall, I was willing to ignore those things because this was a complete movie. This was not half of a story spread out into a full movie, and then we're told, by the way, come back next year to see the other half of this movie, which you wanted to see in this movie. That's how I felt at the end of Pirates of the Caribbean 2. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say, I really like the ending of Pirates of the Caribbean 2. I thought that was a really awesome, jaw-dropping moment. The problem that I had with it was, oh, now we have to wait another year for the rest of the story, which we paid to have here. We paid however much we paid, $8 to go see this movie, per person anyway, and we're only getting half of the movie. We should have paid $4 if that's how it's going to be. If we're not getting the whole movie, then we shouldn't have to pay the whole movie price. That's just a little rant thing that I've had on my chest for a while now. It's probably still going to be on my chest for a long time to come because this is never going to be a problem that is just just going to go away. Screenwriters are always going to try and milk the audience for as much as they can, and that means they're going to take a complete story and turn it into 2 half stories, and that's what they did with Pirates of the Caribbean 2 and 3. This isn't a usual missed opportunities kind of thing for me to discuss, really. This is going to be a fairly short video because basically today's missed opportunities is, why did they split that movie up into 2 films? I really don't have a whole lot else to say here. If I sat down and just dissected the plots of both movies, I could easily talk to you about how, okay, this element here is extraneous. This element really doesn't work unless you know what's going on in the next movie. This element here probably could have been taken out. This element should have been kept here, and then they could have just combined those movies into one movie. If I had the plots of the movies sitting right in front of me, I could do that. I could go really in depth as to why I think these 2 movies work better as one massive movie. If you take out some of the action scenes and some of the characters who don't really matter at all, I think you could do that. But I'm not going to do that because I don't have the plot sitting in front of me. I haven't even watched either of these movies since I saw them in theaters, I don't think. Maybe I've seen one of them once since then, but I don't think I've seen either of them for a very long time now. So yeah, I don't have a whole lot else to say here. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think that the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, the middle movies, do you think that they work fine as their own movies, or do you really think that they should have been one giant movie like I think? Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, and if you like this video, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will be back tomorrow with a different kind of video. So, until then, I will see you guys later. Have a great day.